Hi my rose petals. So today I'm back with a first impressions video, hence the no makeup. Today I'm going to be trying out the new L'Oreal True Match Lumi Cushion Foundation. I have mine in the shade N3.5 Classic Buff, and this is a cushion foundation. The US is finally getting on that cushion foundation wave. Asia has already been on that wave for a while, but I know Physicians Formula has one, Lancome, a couple of brands are coming out with these cushion foundations. So L'Oreal decided to come out with one. I'm excited to try this because one of my favorite drugstore foundations is from L'Oreal, and it's the L'Oreal Pro Infallible Matte. So my skin is super dehydrated right now because I'm from New York and the winter is brutal. It's about 20 something degrees right now and it's really cold, so my skin feels really tight. I've moisturized my face, but I haven't done anything else, like I haven't primed. This foundation claims to give you a luminous glow with one tap. This foundation is available in 12 shades. Again, I got 3.5. I'm not sure if it's gonna match me because that's the only downside to drugstore foundations, is that you can't try them on and you can't actually like test them on your wrist or on your neck because they're all packaged. So I went with 3.5, which is Classic Buff, but there are 12 shades available, which is a pretty good range. I really like that L'Oreal foundations cater to all skin tones because they have yellow based and pink based, which makes it a lot easier to find your match. This says it's suitable for all skin types, including sensitive skin. It also claims that the coverage is sheer to buildable full coverage because it says that with one tap you can get like a sheer finish, but you can also build it up to like a full high coverage foundation. I'm gonna be trying this foundation with a beauty blender as well as a brush because I know some of you guys don't really like the beauty blender or just don't have one and prefer a brush. I prefer a beauty blender with all of my foundations, but that's because I like that natural skin-like finish. Now this foundation was a bit pricey. It was $16.99. They usually have coupons at CVS or Rite Aid for L'Oreal, so try to snag like a buy one get one or 40% off. The fact that it's a cushion and not a regular foundation is probably why they raised the price, because their other foundations are usually like in the $10 range, where this one's in the $17 range. When you open the compact, you do get a mirror and you get this little cushion that you're supposed to use the foundation with. So this little plastic opens up to the side and you have the cushion. So it's basically a makeup sponge filled and soaked with foundation. So if you tap it, it's wet. I'm using the Makeup Forever smoothing primer, and whenever I don't use a primer in first impressions, some people tend to get mad because they want to see how I would actually use it. I'm only going to be using a pore minimizing primer because I don't want to use like a luminous or dewy or any type of primer that might alter the foundation. So I'm just using a little bit of a smoothing primer right here on my pores. I do have some hormonal acne flare-ups here on my cheeks. I've already treated the pimples, so they're not like really exposed, but they're still a bit raised. But my main concern right now is to cover up the redness. So let's see how this foundation holds up. So on the left side of my face, I'm going to be applying it with a beauty blender. So I just tapped the beauty blender twice into this cushion, and as everyone is saying, a little goes a long way. Off the bat, this color looks a bit dark. So let's see. Wow. Okay. It has a lot of coverage. Right off the bat, I can tell you that if you have a heavy hand like me, you're going to get full coverage. The color does seem to match my body. It doesn't match my face because my face is a lot lighter than my body because I exfoliate a lot and I use a lot of masks. So I'm applying a little bit more on this little trouble spot that I have here, just to see if anything will change. I mean, foundations can't really cover up a bump. They can cover redness, but in order to cover up raised skin, you'd have to apply so many layers of foundation, which I'm not really about. So far so good. I'm really satisfied with the coverage. So as you can see, this side of my face looks a lot more even. I'm very satisfied with the color. The foundation hasn't set yet because while I touch my face, there's foundation on my fingers. So I'm just going to kind of let this sink in, and I'm going to do the other side of my face with a brush. And this is the Morphe E6. I love flat top kabuki brushes for foundation. If I am going to do foundation with a brush, it's usually a flat top. So I'm just going to spray my brush with a little bit of Fix Plus from MAC. So I've tapped the brush into the foundation once. So let's see how much coverage this will give us. So you want to kind of push product in and then kind of just swirl gently rather than just like swiping or just moving the brush too much. That's going to cause a lot of streaks, and it's also going to give you less coverage. So I like to just push the product in and then kind of just like stipple and swirl. I'm not crazy about this side with the brush. I just feel like this side looks a lot more seamless, a lot more flawless, and just more like my skin. So I'm actually gonna just blend this out with my beauty blender because I can't stand to walk out with streaky foundation. The brush accentuated any patchiness that I had or any texture or dryness. I do find that this foundation is blendable. On the areas that I needed a little bit more coverage, I went ahead and applied a little more, and I don't find that it's any cakier in that area. So if you do have a lot of discoloration or acne or anything that you want to cover up, I do find that this foundation would work with 2 layers, but I personally don't like 2 layers of foundation on my skin, so I'm just gonna leave it as is. So far so good. This looks like a high-end foundation. It looks very, very natural. I still look super even, but it still looks natural. It doesn't look like I have a cakey foundation on, although the side with the brush does look a little bit drier because when you use a brush, you're over exfoliating your skin, and I have really dry skin, so I always prefer using a beauty blender. I'm curious to see if the little powder puff in here would work, but I just find those really gimmicky, so I say go with a beauty blender. Since the foundation is pretty wet, I am going to set it a bit with some translucent powder. If you're going to be using a bronzer or blush or highlight, I do find that setting the face with a little bit of translucent powder will help because the foundation is still really wet and really just sitting on top of the skin and it's not sinking in. So if you apply any powder product on top of this, it's going to look very streaky and very patchy. So I'm going to finish my makeup and I'll be right back. Now that I have my full face of makeup on, I'm kind of liking it a little bit better. I did have to set my face with Laura Mercier translucent powder because the foundation was just sitting on top of my skin and it wasn't setting. Like, it was taking a long time to set. I did my eyebrows, a little bit of shadow, my lashes, and my foundation still wasn't set. So that says a lot about the foundation. I only set areas that I bronzed and put blush, so on the sides of my face and on my cheeks. I didn't apply any powder on my nose and on the bottom of my cheeks. Foundation looks like a true skin finish. It doesn't look too dewy, doesn't look too matte. But I think the best part of this foundation is its coverage and not its finish. This foundation is a lot dewier than the L'Oreal Pro Matte Infallible because that's a matte foundation, but I can still pull that one off. But this one just looks a lot more natural and a lot more like skin. So I feel like this foundation would be perfect for like everyday wear. The L'Oreal Pro Matte Infallible gives you a very glam look, and it's hard to pull off that one without any other makeup. Like, you can't just wear the L'Oreal Pro Matte Infallible, in my opinion, and just walk out with no brows and stuff because it is so full coverage that it'll look a little bit strange. But I feel like this one you can pull off like a really simple daytime look, like just a little bit of blush, some brows, a little bit of powder, and I think this foundation is perfect for that because it does have a nice natural skin finish. It is currently 3 o'clock. So I'm going to wear this foundation for a couple of hours and then check back in and let you guys know how it held up. Now, it's not hot outside, so the foundation is definitely not going to melt off. I'll see if I get any dry patches or dry texture because outside it is freezing cold and I'm actually heading out. So obsessed with this lip color. This is the ColourPop Lippy Sticks in Taurus. This is Kathleen Light's new Lippy Sticks and I am obsessed. It's obviously not matte. It's very, very hydrating, which I personally like, especially for this weather. Using a matte liquid lipstick is literally going to make your lips look like concrete. For lashes, I use the Blinking Beauty number 8 design lashes and they're just very natural. Here is a close-up of the foundation. I've only had it on for about, I would say like 30-40 minutes. Hopefully my camera focuses and you guys can see. It looks pretty good if you ask me. This foundation did cause flashback when I took pictures on my phone, so that's kind of a bummer because I rely a lot on flash pictures because I don't get much natural daylight or natural sunlight. Here in New York, it's super gloomy most of the time, and even when it is sunny, we still don't get much light into our apartments. So I rely on my ring light and flash either on my cameras or on my phone. So that's kind of a bummer. I wouldn't recommend this if you're going out to an event or anything like that. This is just like a really good daytime wear foundation. I don't feel like I have much makeup on. It feels very, very lightweight. So this is perfect for someone who's on the go, going to school or work, but still likes a full coverage foundation without it looking cakey. I don't have oily skin, so foundations rarely ever get oily on me, so I can't really tell you guys if it's gonna get oily, but I will check back in a few hours to let you guys know how it's holding up as far as longevity, if it's like running off or getting patchy or dry. So I will check back in a few hours. I'll be right back. So it's been 3 hours since I've had this foundation on. I know I threw on this hat because it was so cold outside, and if I take it off I'm gonna have the flattest hat hair ever. So we're just gonna roll with it. So 3 hours ago, I was saying that I was iffy about the foundation, but the more I wore it, the better it looked. And I definitely have to say that that is still true. I feel like the foundation has really set into my skin. It looks flawless in pictures and videos. Still has that flashback, but when I'm Snapchatting or just taking pictures or videos without flash, it looks so good. The only place that I had to touch up was right under my mouth, but that's because I was eating and I had on a lipstick that is not a liquid lipstick, so obviously it transferred onto my chin, so I had to rub that area off, and I just applied a little bit more foundation right in that area. So even though 3 hours have passed and the foundation is already set into my skin, I applied a little bit more and it doesn't look any different in that area. This didn't feel like I had foundation on. Sometimes you put on a foundation and you feel really tight and you feel like you can't really move your face because it's so matte and it's so cold outside. But this foundation just felt like my skin. I feel like the color looks really, really good on camera right now. It doesn't look too light or too dark. At first I thought it was a little bit too light, but with bronzer and blush, it looks great. My face feels pretty matte, like it doesn't feel oily, but it still looks like I have a luminous glow. But it looks very natural. It doesn't look like an oily glow or just like a grease ball glow. Like, it's the perfect amount of glow. I feel like this foundation would suit a lot of skin types because it's not too matte and it's not too dewy or oily. I am so happy that I gave this one a try and I didn't just like rub it off when I first applied it. But sometimes that happens with foundation. You put it on and at first you're like, okay, this looks weird, because, you know, it's a whole layer of makeup on your skin. So of course it's not going to look absolutely flawless, but the more it sinks in and the more you wear it, I think it gets better. So for me, the best way to apply it was a beauty blender, hands down. I love how the beauty blender blends out any foundation, so that's not a surprise. The color is spot on for me. I'm really, really happy with this. I'm very pleased. I don't remember 100% if I've tried the True Match Lumi, the regular full-size bottle, but I have a feeling I did, and it was too dewy for me at the time. Like, it was too oily. I think I tried it like in the summertime. But I have tried the regular True Match, and I do really like that foundation. For a drugstore foundation, this looks better than some of my high-end foundations. Like, it stayed on. It didn't get dry, despite the fact that it's 27 degrees outside. So that's always a plus. So I'm really, really satisfied with this foundation. To me, it doesn't have a scent, which is also a plus. And it didn't irritate my skin. I don't really get irritated right away. My skin has definitely built a tolerance, so if a foundation breaks me out, I'll have to test it out for like 2 or 3 days to finally notice a breakout. But so far so good. I feel like it's super lightweight and I don't feel uncomfortable with this foundation on, which can happen sometimes with a full coverage foundation. So far I've seen this foundation at Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid. I picked mine up at CVS. But if you have a Walmart near you, I would definitely check Walmart because they tend to lower their prices. So you could probably find this for a little bit cheaper at Walmart, but I got mine at CVS, again, for $17, but I don't regret it. I could also wear this foundation on other days that I'm going to be filming and I'm going to be out for longer, just to kind of update you guys on longevity. But so far, first impression, it's definitely a plus in my book. Let me know what else you'd like to see in these kinds of videos. Since I don't film too many of these on my channel, I'm not entirely used to filming them, so I feel like I'm missing out on some information. So let me know what you guys find helpful in these first impressions. Before I go, just want to mention my hat is from TheNuVogue, my shirt is from Windsor, my bracelets are from Alex and Ani. Again, my lippy is Taurus from ColourPop by Kathleen Lights, and my lashes are Blinking Butte. So that wraps up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed and found it helpful. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys!